So in the previous session, we discussed about the absolute and the relative references to cells in Excel, and we came to know that by putting up dollars before B and 2 in this formula, we are literally anchoring the references that this cell makes to these two cells. So let's just try and find out uh, something midway between the absolute and the relative references. So, so think of this. What would happen if I were to delete the dollar sign before the two in this? So right now it seems like that only the B portion is anchored because it has a dollar behind it, and the C portion is also anchored, but two is not. So as the thing would go, we might expect that if we were to copy this formula, say from F to from cell F2 to cell say H4 over here, uh, the B and the C thing would remain the same. That is, the reference to the B and the C column would remain the same, but not the reference to the second column. So let's just try copy pasting it. So I copy this formula, go on to the cell H4 over here, and then paste it, and you can see something really changed. As we expected, the value of B and C are anchored, but 2 has now been replaced by 4. That is, that since we moved 2 rows underneath, that is, we moved on to the fourth row in this cell, so 2 has been replaced by 4. But since B and C had a dollar preceding them, so they literally remained anchored. And you can see in this case, I'm adding up the contents of cell B4 to cells C4. So that is in fact the sales of a scanner in Mumbai and Chennai combined together. Now we move one step forward and instead reverse the functionality over here. I put dollar values before 2 itself. You can see the value still remains the same. And let's just study its behavior as we change the cells from one portion to the another. Say in this case, I want to copy this formula from cell F2 over here to say cell H5 over here. So as per our theory, what would happen is, since B and C are not anchored over here, and we are moving 2 columns away from our F column over here, so we can expect B and C to move 2 columns also. But since 2 is anchored, the reference to the second row would not change. So I copy this formula, go on to H5, and then paste it, and there you go. This is what has happened. Since B and C were over here and we moved 2 columns towards the right, so B has been changed to D over here and C has been changed to E over here. But the references to the second column still remain the same. And effectively, I'm adding up the contents of D2 and E2, and you can see there is nothing really in these two cells, which makes the total value of cell H5 to 0. So this is all about the two other kind of references which lie between the absolute and the relative references in Excel. Thank you for watching.